Ezu is lining up to be one of the most hyped drops of September. Now they've got 107,000 followers on Twitter and they are just going absolutely crazy. Now in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some of the details, some of the information that I've kind of been doing and diving and doing some research on. I've had some calls with some people that kind of know some things, so I've collated everything together to hopefully get you up to speed with Ezu and what is happening. Now, first up, this is not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Please do your own research before jumping into the space. It's super speculative. Now, a lot of this stuff is from calls and research that I've actually done myself. So what is Ezu? Ezu is the sister project of Psychedelics Anonymous. Basically, the way that it came about was Psychedelics Anonymous has an accelerator to take some cool, interesting Web3 concepts and accelerate them to then bring them to market. And what the founder of Psychedelics Anonymous, Vultura, did was got a few of these people that had some really great ideas and put them together to create Ezu. Now, with Ezu, it is going to be a cross-chain NFT. So it is going to launch on Magic Eden, and it is you are able to buy it within Sol or ETH. And this is very interesting, very good. And the fact that this is the first thing that's going to be happening like this on Magic Eden, this kind of adds a little bit more oomph behind it, because it means that Sol boys can get behind it, ETH boys can get behind it, and Magic Eden's going to really push this forward. If you've ever seen how Magic Eden does its launch pads, the fact is any of those projects that is on the Magic Eden launchpad usually does quite well. So I can see this doing quite well off the rip because they want to make sure it succeeds and does quite good. So there are 4 factions when it comes to Ezu. You've got light, vapor, liquid, and earth. Now the speculation of this is the fact that you are going to have these different factions, but there's speculation that if you hold all 4, then that may give you something in the future. And what that thing is, we are not sure, but if you do have a look at what has happened with Psychedelics Anonymous, the fact is there are multiple different components, multiple different aspects that come together to then give you the divine entities, which was the kind of teased final form of PA and where that was heading down. So the fact that Ezu does have these 4 different factions leads me and a few others to believe that there is something a little bit more if all 4 are collected. Now, because we're on factions, let's actually jump in and check out some of the art. What you can see here is the art is very similar to what you kind of see with a Psychedelics Anonymous. Now, I know that you will have some people going, hey, it's different, it has its own design language, and it does, but it is similar in a sense that you've got these sort of humanoid sort of creatures looking forward with masks, with accessories. So you can see there is a bit of inspiration taken from the original Psychedelics Anonymous thing. When it comes to the artist is unknown. It isn't the same artist as Psychedelics Anonymous, so please keep that in mind. Now, one thing that I kind of want to touch on when it comes to Ezu is this tweet about what is Ezu, what is it going to be? It's not just an art project, and I think this is very important. Now, there is this thread. This is the main kind of thread that's pinned up top of their Twitter profile. When you kind of come down, you have all the information about the fact that they're going to be launching on Magic Eden. You've got the fact that it's a sister project, but you've got product. Now, this is important. Ezu has been developing a to-earn economy for consumers to be rewarded as they wear products using NFC chips tied to smart contracts with AR capabilities. NFC chips are already in testing and we will provide demos. The to-earn mechanism will use the Psy coin. Now, I think this is very cool, very interesting. Now, what I want to touch on right now is some of the tech that the PA holders, PA holders are very smart and very tech savvy. So you can see here, this is a tweet by Kloss showing off some of the kind of tech that is in a PA mask. So you can see the sort of Raspberry Pi in a mask. Now, when it comes to the to-earn economy, what the speculation is around this is the fact that you will have NFC sort of tech within some clothing and accessories, which you will then be able to wear. And the best way to describe it would be, imagine if you were an influencer or a kind of ambassador of the project, being Ezu, and you could wear clothing, and then it could tell that you're wearing clothing, which would then reward you in the coin, Psy coin, which means you could then use that to kind of keep buying things within the ecosystem. Now, this is super, if this is the case, this is super innovative because it then it truly decentralizes the brand. The fact is, the people that are talking about the brand, repping the brand, and showing the brand off more and more are going to be rewarded for it. And this is a very crucial step in moving towards a decentralized way and a decentralized kind of play where people are able to contribute to the ecosystem without just having to like make videos like this, to write sort of tweets or blog posts and things like that. They actually wear and rep the items and utilities. But this also then goes down to the rabbit hole where you could then have the kind of speculation of it going into the metaverse and different metaverses where you could wear those clothings and those types of things. So I think it is very cool that they are building in this tech to kind of add into the ecosystem of Psychedelics Anonymous. Now, when it comes down to the price and the supply, the senior team have been very tight-lipped about this, but what I can say and what I have been kind of on some calls with people and what the speculation currently is that Psychedelics Anonymous minted a full set at 0.253. So it looks like it would be underneath that 0.253 mark for the collection, because that's what the full set of the PA would be. And the idea is that you wouldn't then have multiple components to collect. The idea is it would be all encapsulated within that one piece. Now, when it comes down to the supply of what Ezu would be, it's looking at around sort of more than 10K, but then less than 20K. Now, the reason being is that right now, approximately sort of 5,000 to 6,000 PA holders, Psychedelics Anonymous holders, will be able to get an Ezu, and they do want to get a lot of new people into the ecosystem. They are doing a lot of whitelist games, and you can see a whitelist game went up 16 minutes ago, and it's absolutely going crazy. You can see these retweets and these likes at the moment. So the speculation is that there are going to be essentially 50% the PA ecosystem and 50% of a new kind of onboarded people that aren't within the PA ecosystem. So this gets you to around that 12K mark, and I can see a little bit more or less. So getting to around that 12 to 15,000 mark of a supply seems to be about right. And these are conversations that I've had, and I've kind of pushed some people to try to get some information, and this is kind of looking like where it's falling currently. Now, look, when it comes down to the team, what I want to touch on really quick is the team and how I think this will actually play out longer term. So you've got Lewis Gale, who is Vultura, the founder of Psychedelics Anonymous. So he's not just sitting back and advising, he's actually kind of deep in the team with the strategy of Ezu. Megan Casper, she is product strategy. She is an absolute gun. When you actually have a look at her on Twitter and what her accomplishments are, she has done a lot of cool things within the space and what she's actually kind of doing. So she is a great key member when it comes down to Ezu. You've got Kyle, who is the product manager. You've got Zach, which is the lead engineer. Now, one thing I want to touch on is ... which is the creative partner. Now, I think this is very cool and very interesting, because now when you start to touch on the NFC technology and how that's going to work with AR capabilities, if you actually check out ... on Twitter, you can see what they've done. This is in 2018. So this is like sort of a good 4 or 5 years ago, the AR tech that they've actually kind of had. Now, what they're doing is they have the ability and the tech to actually do some cool stuff. So you can see this cool AR tech right here that they've kind of worked on. And the fact is, I think that having them as a creative partner gives the Ezu team the ability to actually kind of utilize some tech so they don't have to build it all in-house, but combine their Web3 sort of innovations that they want to have with some tech that's already built to actually then combine to actually make this wearable sort of NFC tech and the kind of the two-earn economy actually work. So I think this is very interesting, a very strategic partnership by the sort of senior team at Ezu. Now, touching on the rest of the team, you've got Nicole, you've got Anne, you've got Adam, and you go back to Vault. Now, when it comes down to the launch date, I think we will get an announcement within the next week or so, because this tweet went up on the 7th of July saying Ezu will surprise us all in 4 to 6 weeks. Now, we are in the sort of 4 to 6 week period now, so I do believe we will get an announcement. Now, last time there was about a sort of 1 month run up from the kind of like, hey, we're going to be launching and minting to actually going to mint. So I think within the next 2 weeks, we're going to get an announcement, and then the drop will happen within the kind of September period. So my money is on September, early September, for the mint of Ezu. Now look, if you are somewhat new to the space and you've just come across Ezu, you've just come across this video and you're wondering about the legitimacy of the project, if you actually scroll down on the website, you can see Vultura Labs copyright 2022. And then if you actually head over onto ABN Lookup, which is the Australian version of kind of like business incorporations, names, things like that, you can also see that Vultura Labs, which is down the bottom of the website here, Vultura Labs, it is registered, and this has been registered since November 2021, which is what the Psychedelics Anonymous brand is under as well. And you can see that down here, 2022 Vultura Labs. So this can just be another layer of sort of confidence when it comes down to Ezu. The fact is it's backed by, it's the sister project of a successful project, but it also is registered. So if there was any recourse to be had, you can actually kind of go back in the chain. You can kind of look everything up and you can kind of do all this. I think this is very good. It's very transparent. It's very solid in that sense. And I think that this is just ticks all the boxes when it comes down to what a project should be. Now, one thing that I want to touch on is the trait economy. Now, in PA, Vultura has kind of put forward the idea that he thinks that traits and the trait economy, people buying and selling traits, trading traits, will be a thing in the future. And one thing that I think will play into effect with Ezu being the sister project of Psychedelics Anonymous is the fact that this may be the first time that we can actually see the cross-project, cross-trait sort of trading, buying and selling that could happen. Now, this is just speculation. This is just my idea, but the fact that Vultura, everything he puts out into the world, he does kind of execute on, and he puts it out with great thought and great reason. Now, with the great thought and great reason when it comes down to the trait economy, the thing that I can see quite well is that you could then take your mask from your PA, or you could take this helmet from your Ezu and then swap them over, start trading them. And once you then also kind of touch on the fact that Magic Eden will be the launch pad for Ezu, the forward thinking, the long-term speculation that I get is you will then essentially have a trait economy, which will then be able to go cross-chain as well. So you'll have a multi-chain trait economy that I think Volt and the team are trying to put together and build this ecosystem around, because it will be quite a leap forward. It will be quite crazy, but once you start to truly internalize the implications of this is how you end up blending projects together. We're already seeing lots of different project collaborations, especially with something like 10KTF. How they do have multiple different projects coming together to craft different products and different things. It does make sense that this is where the ecosystem of NFTs is going. It's not just going to be buying a PFP, but you're going to be able to buy accessories, buy things that you can then customize an avatar, customize a PFP, things like that. So that is something that I think they are working on behind the scenes and actually trying to put together, and it does make sense. Now, like I said, a lot of this stuff has been is speculation. I keep saying it's speculation because I don't have the raw hard details. The team are being very quiet, very sort of tight with the information that they're dripping out. And I've been on calls with people. I've been doing deep dives, been doing this research to try to get you the information so that hopefully I can give you a little bit of an insight about what Ezu is and what they're actually kind of trying to build so that you can have a better educated decision when it comes down to entering into whitelist games or entering into the ecosystem as a whole. I do think that Ezu will be a lower barrier to entry when it comes to people getting into the PA ecosystem, and the fact that they are including that coin and that token, the coin side token, I think it's very good and very sort of interesting in onboarding people into the space. So that is my breakdown of Ezu, why it is a hyped project, why it looks like it has a little bit more legs and it's more than just a PFP. Hopefully you found value in this video. If you did, please consider hitting up that subscribe button. And while you're down there, also hit up the like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.